folks, I'm Tom Vassell, and welcome to Week in Review, a video series in which we talk about the reviews we reviewed last week and tell you what we think about them now. Quick takes. And then if you want to know more and see the full review, just check the description below. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Last week we did a bunch of things, like a top 10 list that makes me feel smart, but I also did a couple of reviews, so here we go. I reviewed a card game called Narabi, which I rate a 6 out of 10. This is a cooperative small card game in which you are trying to arrange cards on the table, but they have a secret rule as to how they can move on the back of the cards. I found it to be clever. It's an interesting little game, but it is sort of a pain to set up each time. You have to take two different cards, put them back to back, and sleeve them. You have to do that every time because the front and the back need to be randomized to one another. And I thought overall it was a cute kind of exercise, but not something with a long-term longevity that I really enjoy in cooperative games. And then I reviewed Corinth. I rate this a 7 out of 10. And this is a reworking in many ways of Ispahan, a game that came out about a decade ago, maybe more than that. In this one, it's a roll and write game, and you are just sort of filling in markets, rolling dice, selecting them, filling in markets, moving this one character around the town, things like that. I liked it. It's a very light game. It's also nothing necessarily that is mind-blowing, but I thought it was a good distillation of the original Ispahan with not as many fiddly rules as the original, and a tighter time frame. It's about 25 minutes. I really enjoyed it. Very bright, very well produced. Nice game in the roll and write family with a little more flavor than the usual roll numbered dice and write in a color or a number and there's no theme whatsoever. So there you go. That's it for me, everybody. I will see you all on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another week in review. I did 2 reviews and a first impressions video for you this week. The first review was for Atlantis, Island of Gods, and I gave this one a 6 out of 10. It's a hand management game, basically, is what you're really trying to do. You're trying to be the first person to accomplish all of the temple building goals that your specific deity has given you, and the first person to do that wins. And you're really just trying to manage the resources that are in your hand and on your tableau as you do that and do it the most efficiently. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but I don't think it had enough to really differentiate itself away from the rest of the kinds of card games that do this thing. So I gave it a 6 out of 10, so go check that out. Also did Traveling Across Europe. Gave this one a 7 out of 10, and this one is a take that game, basically, where you are trying to travel from one country to another, and once you get 5 countries in your tableau, if you're able to do that first, you're the winner. But during the course of trying to do that, you're also able to play bad cards on other people and possibly play good cards on yourself. And whoever has the most points, each country that you visit has a certain number of points attributed to it, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. So you may get 5 down, but if you don't have more points than somebody else might win. So I did enjoy this one. Gave it a 7 out of 10. I definitely approve of it, so go check that out. It also did a first impressions video of 3 different games: a Libraria, Dungeon Duel, and Game of Thrones Oathbreaker. So go check that first impressions video out. We're going to get those back to the table here pretty soon and get them reviewed, I guess, as soon as possible. So that is that. Thanks for joining us. Back to the rest of your week in review.
Okay, so for me, first of all, Monopoly Cash Grab. If you want a gun that shoots money, yes. If you want a game, no. It's just shoot money and everyone jumps around the floor and grabs it. Treasure Mountain. This one I gave a 5 to because it is essentially just it's a nice worker placement game idea, but I found that there was wonky economy, way too much randomness at certain points in it. The whole thing just didn't come together in a good way for me. Boof Bowl. This is a football, soccer style game in the Crossmasters universe. It's just too lucky. Some nice components, but not a very interesting game. 1 to 9. This is designed by famous designer Klaus-Jürgen Rade, who did Carcassonne. This one is okay. You're just trying to get numbers in order from 1 to 9, placing them on a table. We're talking Uno level of lightness, though. Chakra, this is an interesting game where you're moving these different gems around, but I found that it was just, again, the scoring was really too lucky for me. With kind of a fairly strategic game to scoring being almost random, I wasn't a fan of that. Wolfpac, this is a trivia game. I like trivia style games. This one's an interesting one where you can pick one other person to be with you or try to do it as yourself as a lone wolf. Ghostbusters card game, very, very random, very chaotic, but it does have the Ghostbusters theme in it, and I think some people will enjoy the lightness of it. Dosa, a game where you're tossing these discs so that they mag drop on boards. I thought it was a really cool, I don't know how it works, but the way it works is neat, and I like these kind of dexterity games. Kumamoto, this is a I split, and then we're all going to pick which half we want. And then if multiple people pick that half, we split it again. Some interesting mechanisms, and I thought it worked pretty well, and nice components. I also took a look at the new Wildlands map, basically another map for Wildlands. Where there's one side is really cool with the Wizard's Tower, but if you just want more variety, that was very good. And Quad Heroes, a Robo Rally-esque game where you're going to be programming these little quad guys to move around, tumble around the board. It is a cute theme, and there's a lot of different ways to play it, and absolutely stunning components. This week, we also took a look at our top 10 games that make us feel smart, and we did a Dice Tower deep dive on Carcassonne, talking about Carcassonne and all its expansions and spin-offs, and several other things that we did. Check those out. Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell, and this has been Week in Review.